Imagine if the most significant events in history, those that shaped the world as we know it, were entirely unpredictable. From financial market crashes to revolutionary inventions, these are what Nassim Nicholas Taleb calls Black Swan events. They're rare, they're unexpected, and they have massive consequences. In The Black Swan, Taleb reveals how our inability to predict these outliers can have profound impacts on our lives, economies, and even our understanding of the world. But what exactly makes a Black Swan event so powerful? And why do we struggle so much to anticipate them? In this video, we'll dive into the core concepts of the Black Swan and explore how embracing uncertainty can change the way you see the world. Now that we've introduced the intriguing concept of Black Swan events, let's take a deeper look at what Nassim Nicholas Taleb's The Black Swan is all about and why it's such a transformative read. The Black Swan by Nassim Nicholas Taleb challenges the way we perceive the world, particularly our understanding of risk, probability, and the impact of rare events. At its core, the book argues that most of the significant changes in history, whether in finance, technology, or culture, are driven by rare, unpredictable events that are nearly impossible to predict with traditional methods. Taleb calls these events Black Swans because, much like the discovery of black swans in Australia shattered the belief that all swans were white, these events shatter our expectations and assumptions. What sets The Black Swan apart from other works on risk and probability is its focus on the limitations of our knowledge. Taleb argues that human beings are inherently poor at predicting the future because we are blinded by our own biases, overconfidence, and reliance on past data. We tend to ignore or underestimate the possibility of outliers, those rare events that fall outside the realm of regular expectations but have a disproportionately large impact. Taleb's central thesis is that we live in a world dominated by the unpredictable, and the more we acknowledge this uncertainty, the better prepared we can be. Taleb also introduces the concept of mediocristan and extremistan to explain the environments in which Black Swan events occur. In mediocristan, outcomes are predictable and follow a normal distribution, like the height of humans or the weight of fruits. In contrast, extremistan is where Black Swans lurk, where a single event can have an outsized impact, such as in financial markets or technological innovation. This distinction is crucial because it highlights the areas of life where traditional methods of risk assessment fail. One of the most compelling aspects of the book is how Taleb emphasizes the need for humility in the face of uncertainty. He urges readers to recognize the limits of their knowledge and to be skeptical of experts who claim to predict the future with confidence. As Taleb puts it, we are blind to randomness, particularly large deviations. This idea challenges the conventional wisdom of risk management and encourages a more robust approach to dealing with the unknown. Now that we've laid out the foundation of Taleb's ideas, let's delve into the key takeaways from The Black Swan. Insights that not only challenge the way we think, but also offer a new perspective on dealing with the unpredictable. The first major takeaway from The Black Swan is the concept of Black Swan blindness. Our tendency to overlook or underestimate the impact of rare, unpredictable events. Taleb argues that humans are wired to focus on what's familiar and predictable, often dismissing the possibility of outliers. This is because we like to believe that the future will look much like the past, so we rely heavily on historical data to make decisions. However, Taleb warns that this reliance is precisely what makes us vulnerable. He uses the metaphor of the Thanksgiving turkey to illustrate this point. For 999 days, the turkey is fed and cared for, believing each day that life will continue as usual until day 1000, when it's slaughtered. This analogy drives home the idea that just because something hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it won't. And when it does, the consequences can be catastrophic. Building on this, the second key takeaway is the distinction between mediocristan and extremistan, two realms that help us understand where black swans are likely to emerge. In mediocristan, events are typically small and predictable, like the distribution of height among humans. Here, outliers have minimal impact. But in extremistan, where phenomena like wealth, book sales, or financial markets reside, a single event can completely skew the outcome. For instance, think about the impact of a best-selling book like Harry Potter, a single title that generated more revenue than thousands of other books combined. This takeaway is crucial because it teaches us to recognize which domain we're operating in and adjust our expectations and strategies accordingly. The third and perhaps most profound takeaway is the need for anti-fragility, a concept Taleb introduces in his later work, but one that's deeply rooted in the ideas presented in the Black Swan. Anti-fragility is the ability to thrive and grow stronger in the face of chaos and uncertainty, rather than merely surviving or being resilient. Taleb suggests that instead of trying to predict black swans, we should build systems that can absorb shocks and even benefit from them. He uses the example of venture capitalists who invest in a variety of startups knowing that most will fail but one or two might become massive successes, offsetting the losses. This mindset shift is crucial in a world where predicting the unpredictable is a fool's game. Together, these three takeaways, recognizing black swan blindness, understanding the domains of mediocristan and extremistan, and embracing anti-fragility, form a powerful framework for navigating an uncertain world. They challenge us to rethink our assumptions, embrace the unknown, and build strategies that don't just withstand black swans but actually thrive because of them. Now that we've unpacked these critical insights, let's explore how you can apply the lessons from the black swan to your own life and work, helping you not just to survive in a world of uncertainty but to thrive within it. The first practical application is to diversify your risk exposure. Taleb advises that instead of trying to predict specific black swan events, you should structure your life and work in a way that you're not overly dependent on any single outcome. For example, in your investments, consider adopting a barbell strategy. Allocate a small portion of your resources to high-risk, high-reward opportunities while keeping the majority in safe, stable assets. This way, you're protected from significant losses while still being open to unexpected gains. Next, embrace optionality. The idea that having multiple options open to you increases your ability to respond to unexpected events. In practice, this could mean acquiring diverse skills, maintaining financial liquidity, or cultivating a wide network. The more options you have, the better you can pivot when faced with unforeseen challenges or opportunities. For instance, if your industry undergoes a sudden change, having a broad skill set allows you to adapt quickly rather than being caught off guard. Finally, cultivate a mindset of humility and skepticism. Taleb stresses the importance of acknowledging the limits of your knowledge. This doesn't mean living in fear of the unknown, but rather being aware that your predictions can be flawed. Regularly question your assumptions and seek out alternative perspectives. This approach not only prepares you for surprises but also makes you more resilient in the face of them. By implementing these strategies, you can build a life that's not just resilient to black swan events but actually benefits from the unexpected. As we wrap up, I encourage you to put these ideas into practice and see how they transform your approach to uncertainty. Now that you have a better understanding of how to navigate uncertainty with the insights from the Black Swan, let's explore some additional resources that can further enhance your journey. If the Black Swan resonated with you, there are a few more books you should consider adding to your reading list. First, check out Antifragile by Nassim Nicholas Taleb, where he expands on the idea of thriving in chaos rather than just surviving. Next, Fooled by Randomness, also by Taleb, dives into the role of luck and randomness in our lives and decisions. Finally, Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman offers a deep dive into the psychology of decision-making, providing insights into how our minds often misjudge risk and uncertainty. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of the Black Swan. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with others who might benefit from these insights. I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences, so drop a comment below. Stay tuned for more content that can help you thrive in an unpredictable world.